Yo, yo. Alright, alright. I think that should be good. Or maybe that can be a bit lower. Big up, big up, big up. Or bless up. Don't know why this keeps showing like this in terms of the chat these days. Can just put it down a bit lower, I guess. Yeah, it can work. Alright, so here we are, the end of February. Welcome, gentle people, Sanju Uchiha here. And yeah, it's the end of February. For the next few days, I might be a bit busy. I don't know if any of you actually caught my YouTube community post. The next few days I'll probably be a bit busy, so I said I'd just do this tonight for the most part. Of course, as per usual, you guys can let me know if the audio is alright, especially in relation to my voice here. Testing. Got a little pop filter for the mic as well. Everything looks alright, I suppose. Let's double check one thing. Yeah, everything on the same track. Alright, so what I will do as well. Well, not yet. Probably I'll say it a bit later. Oh yeah. So welcome to the stream, guys. February has been a pretty chill month. I hope it's been great for you guys. Pretty decent. I know in terms of the whole, you know, some of you might have had your little Valentine's treats to give or get, maybe. Little money spending there, but you know how it goes already. Or, you know, if you're not even not someone that celebrates Valentine's Day, it's whatever. It's literally whatever to me, to be honest. I mean, you know, you can show your appreciation for people all year. So it is what it is. But yeah, going into tonight, guys, you know, of course I would have done my reaction review to Boruto Chapter 30, to Blue Vortex, of course, Chapter 31 last week. That was last week, right? Yeah, give or take. And you know, we got on a solid chapter, but I feel like there's a lot of things to still discuss going even into the stream that we're having here tonight. Of course, one of the big things to look forward to for the coming series of events, as the, you know, the thumbnail shows, is Daemon versus Mamushi. So that's going to be the title match, as I would like to call it, for the most part. Hold on. This up. Yeah. So yeah, Daemon versus Mamushi, like, that's going to be very interesting to say the least, as you can even tell by the title. And another thing I think we need to actually address, which we've kind of talked about before in some shape or form, is just the fact that, you know, Eida is going to get devoured. I mean, I think it's like a 99% chance of it happening. Like, it kind of feels like it has to happen, you know. And of course, even the reason why I even put the title of the stream like that for the end is that, you know, me kind of discussing old characters coming back to the Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, or just the Boruto manga in general. It feels like trying to, you know, back in the day where I usually try to kind of predict the Jogan. Oh, the Jogan can appear here. Oh, the Jogan makes sense to appear here. You know, it kind of feels like that. So I'm not gonna say, like, sit here and tell you like I'm 100% like have stocks invested in, like, oh, I don't know, Kakashi's going to show up or something, but you know, it's definitely a possibility as well. So it's a maybe, especially with everything that's been going on when it comes on to, like, you know, Shikamaru and Kobu and everything. So I'm just saying, it's a possibility. You never know. So yeah, let me just kind of switch over here. Yeah, it's not bad. So as I was saying, chapter 31 was a solid chapter. I'm really looking forward to chapter 32. There's actually some things I need to actually pull up on Daemon from previous chapters now that I think about it. Or if anything, I guess I can pull from memory. But yeah, as I probably kind of look for these. As I said, one of the big things to look forward to is Daemon versus Mamushi, right? And for the entirety of 2 Blue Vortex, Daemon hasn't really been doing much. He's just been kind of just chilling, maybe semi-aura farming for the most part, kind of still having or carrying that air of, oh, I'm the strongest, like like X and X person cannot survive this move, with the exception of Daemon, of course, like on some Satoru Gojo type of vibe. That's the type of ear that Daemon kind of carries with him for most of the series, or for most of his screen time. And of course, more recently, we had the whole little scuffle between, him and, Sarada, who was trying to activate her Mangekyo Sharingan, but of course, Daemon was, way too fast for her. So, there's that. So, outside of that, him carrying himself with an air of, importance, the strongest in the modern era, and his whole fight with Code. And if I'm remembering correctly, even before Boruto left the village, he was saying, Boruto, yo, get stronger so I can, finally go all out for once, So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of ties in or goes with him going up against Mamushi. I mean, the interesting thing, based on how chapter 31 ended, of course, it's not just going to be Daemon versus Mamushi alone, but that's like, I think the main the main fight persons are looking forward to. So there's that. Feels stuffy. Looking for something specific regarding Daemon. Yada 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 yada. I just want to get my ducks in a row for the most part. Why doesn't feel like it's this chapter at all? Let's see. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Almost sure that they talked about him in chapter 75. Let's see. Yeah. I'm looking for a specific panel here. Yeah, this thing is missing pages. Alright, anyway, let me just keep on blabbering as we kind of to kind of look through for these panels here. So, one thing that kind of came to mind that I find interesting, back in the little fight between Daemon and Code, right? Bug was the one to actually, call out Daemon's whole reflection weakness for the most part. And, it's kind of interesting that at the end of the day, the person that kind of knew the weakness is the person we'll finally get to see Daemon finally get to do something in 2 Blue Vortex in terms of a fight engagement, right? So I find that interesting. One thing I kind of brought up, which I'm kind of looking again for, like, the scan, in terms of some nuances when it comes on to Daemon's ability. Because yeah, we do know that he has to, like, be like in physical contact with someone for the ability to work. But there's something else that was kind of pointed out that I found kind of interesting, which I was talking about on a previous stream, that could kind of serve as like a weakness, you know, for it. Can I go back to chapter 75? So my file. Yeah, I'm trying to pull up chapter 75, but I'm not getting a good like scan of it. Ones that I'm finding kind of feel like they're missing pages. Is that or I have the wrong chapter? But I'm almost sure it's chapter 75 that Amado kind of talks about, you know, their abilities and everything. Let me see something here. Or maybe I should go back to the chapter where he fights Code. Hold on. No, it's not this one. Let's see. So this is chapter 70. Bring this over here. So yeah, this stuff in chapter 70. Oh, thought my camera was frozen for a second there. There's no dress code, which is still fun in hindsight. Mr. I got no limits, right? Let's see. Alright, let me go to chapter 71. This cancellation site seems like it's, well, I mean, they kind of just ripped the yeah, sorry about that, guys. Not sure why, but connection be dropping for some reason. Guys, still with me in the chat? It's crazy how I can't find like a good version of these chapters for this stream. Let's see. All right, I think this can probably work. But I don't like how it's formatted here. Okay, so I guess left, right. I think it's already being reflected. Okay. I'm looking for the statement that Bug makes. Okay, so here we go. So here we have it when like the whole scuffle between Code and Daemon happened, right? And it's like, don't worry about Big Sis. Whether it's against Otsuki or anyone else, I'll protect her. I see. Eida doesn't need 2 knights, does she? That's right, just one. Me. What? What are you talking about? You're creeping me out. Sorry, Daemon, but let's clear up once and for all who the real hindrance here is. You're losing it. Sounds interesting. Try it. Code, his palms. Beware of Daemon's palms. It's only when he's touching others with his hands that actions get reflected. Hey Zion, Wagwan. Not necessarily reading. I just wanted to kind of bring up some particular like pages with Daemon to like emphasize a point. 1 second there. Hold on. Bring up chapter 75 because I want to kind of try to look at like the whole nuances of the ability before we get into that potential Mamushi versus Daemon. So interestingly enough, as I said, this is something I kind of pointed out before, where it's like, yeah, he reflects all attacks, any action that would inflict harm on him. And though it's necessary for his hands to be touching another person, his ability will also transfer to the person currently touching to him. So yeah, this was the interesting thing I pointed out in a previous stream last year, right? The whole part when it says like the ability will also transfer to the person currently touching him. So the interesting thing is that Amaro is the one saying this, right? So I'm kind of wondering if that translates to, okay, like if somebody's actually touching Daemon as well, like any killing intent directed towards them will also get reflected to the person. So I'm wondering if there's like a little loophole, for example, Mamushi could like kind of exploit where like, oh, there's a secret claw mark on Daemon, and then he just kind of puts like a small wood style branch through it, just enough that you probably don't realize, and then you probably can kind of get to Daemon or somebody else around him like that, you know. It's a possibility. I'm just kind of throwing that out there because I'm just saying it's right there. It reflects attacks, and of course again he does need to be touching somebody. But it can be a confused here. But I'm kind of wondering if that's going to factor in. That's basically all I was kind of boiling it down to. So there's that. But outside of that note, right? Because as we know, even coming back from the whole the whole fight here with Code and Daemon, we know that the hacks that Daemon has is just like half the story. And the fact that, you know, again, you know, we've seen this time and time again, he's also a fighter beyond the Jigen with fighters like Code. That was hilarious. You said earlier that you felt like you couldn't lose to anyone or something like that. But that no, you know, looking back at this chapter, like when I like even like it must, yo, dog, like plus Code's regain its full power, which is greater than Jigen's was. Well, which is greater than Jigen's was. Best case they'll destroy each other. And then like when when Daemon's like, yo, fam, like this isn't even warm up. Like what the like Buggy is so surprised. So you know, it's so interesting. So as I said, the whole hacks is half the battle. So I don't know, as far as I see it so far, when it comes on to a head-on-head battle, yes, Mamushi is strong, but I don't think I've seen like anything that's going to wow me to say like, yeah, like Daemon has anything to worry about in a head-on-head battle at least. Daemon can reflect anything, including harmful intent in your head. But the chance that reflect, he has to be touching someone. Yeah, true. But as I said, the part that I'm interested in is the whole, you know, his ability will also transfer to the person currently touching him. That's the part I'm kind of curious about. So I'm wondering if that's going to play out in some way when it comes on to that potential fight. So I guess we'll see. It's just interesting that Kishimoto slash Ikimoto has that line there. So just curious. No way. Had enough yet? You do seem stronger than Jigen, so neither Hokage nor Uchiha should be trouble. But that's all. Who's second or third doesn't matter to number one. Me. Yo, it's crazy, bro. That code got folded like that, like in so little time. It's actually crazy. So, yeah, but I guess it is what it is. So, yeah, as I said, in a head-on-head fight, I don't really think Mamushi has, I mean, Daemon has much to worry about. It would be interesting to see, you know, how that fight goes, because, you know, at the end of the day, Daemon's not really, he's not a shinobi, and, you know, at the same time too, Mamushi obviously isn't a shinobi either, so it should be interesting to see how the fight's going to go. And again, like I was kind of pointing out, it's kind of interesting that the person who kind of first highlighted Daemon's weakness is the one he's going to be going up against in the possible near future. So yeah, so I just find that kind of very interesting, you know. So obviously Mamushi himself will be going into this fight with the knowledge that Bug had, more than likely. So there's that. And of course, this whole recent ability from last chapter where they were saying, you know, Mamushi can get information out of you by kind of looking into your eyes, basically. I'm kind of see if I can bring up back that part. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. You could definitely see me, so he can get intel from looking into other people's eyes. So that's the next interesting thing I think is going to be difficult as well. Even though, like, and this might just be because, you know, he's kind of split himself off, so his intelligence isn't so hot right now. But I'm wondering if when it comes on to a battle, right? Like, can you look into somebody's eyes and then, like, know their whole, you know, move sets, their whole kits? I'm kind of curious if it could work like that, because that would actually make him a bit more difficult to kind of deal with, right? So, you know, the possibilities there as well. So, yeah. Hold on, let me refresh this page, because I want to go back to the part where Mamushi himself even kind of confirms it that bada bum bada bum. Themselves openly. So where is that wench? Are you sure she's in this village? Relax, she takes one look at us and she's done. We'll know where she is. So much. Yeah, okay. So I'm wondering, it would be, I think it'd be even more interesting if it does extend to him knowing like your moves, essentially. I think that would be interesting. True, but Mamushi seems to have the perfect ability to somewhat exploit the transfer ability to get a hit on Daemon. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, again, the fact that they phrase that the ability can be transferred to the person that's in contact with him as well, I think that's like a little wiggle room for a little exploit on Mamushi's end, possibly. So it should be interesting to see how that goes. But I mean, the interesting part about it as well, you know, is that outside of like Mamushi versus Daemon, of course, Boruto, Kawaki, Sarada, Shikadai, Chocho will be there as well. So he has some backup he can actually work with, if anything. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets cocky and gets caught off guard. You know, it's kind of like the cliche way to actually deal with or handle characters like Daemon who are so powerful, right? So it should be interesting to see how the whole team dynamic is going to go with these characters. It just seems like an advanced sensory ability. Yeah. True. So yeah, it could be a possibility that it doesn't really get the moveset, but I guess we'll see. I think that would be interesting all the same. I'm kind of hoping that we do get some more from Daemon outside of the reflect ability and his ridiculous stats. You know, just something to kind of comment on, because at the end of the day, he still has Shibai cells, Shibai DNA, and I guess technically Mamushi does too, technically, I suppose. So I'm wondering if something can come out of it when two persons, which, well, no, nah, I'm going too much on a limb there. Forget that last point. But yeah. But outside of that, like, as I was kind of pointing out before, like, or even in the title, I think, like, in Eida's case now, right? I think it could turn out to be a case where, you know, Daemon doesn't really have a problem, but, you know, with Mamushi's ability, he probably pulls like a sneak, a sneak and eat, if I can put it like that, and devours Eida when you know, everybody's kind of preoccupied for the most part. So yeah, it could come to that, but I think Eida has to be devoured, or will be devoured for the most part. I think it like has to happen. One, we've kind of gotten to the point where she's not really using her like Senrigan anymore like that, at least when it comes on to Mamushi. So it's kind of like, for that purpose, at least you could probably take her out. Two, you know, you have the whole, I mean, the Shinju have kind of been around for almost 30 chapters now, almost, which is crazy to think about. And this whole thing of them getting like one of their targets like hasn't been shown yet, and I think it has to happen for us to get more. I mean, you bring up this whole point in the narrative, right? And almost 30 chapters later, we still haven't seen it. So I think it kind of like has to happen so we can get an idea of, like, you know, get more engaged. Like, what's that narrative term where it's like you kind of put the shotgun on the wall and then you show it and you should use it, because, you know, if you're just telling us something versus just not showing us, it kind of kills the engagement. So I think from that perspective also it has to happen for the most part, because even from the reader standpoint, even from our standpoint, I think we're all curious what would happen if, for example, you know, a Shinju, like, who's already, like, you know, sentient, eats one of their targets. Like, what happens? What happens in the grand scheme of things after that? Do they become a new person? Does the Ten Tails tree just spit out another person? Does Mamushi cease to exist? Do the personalities of Boga and Eida mix into some some new personality? You know, stuff like that. And I think it would be to the benefit of the plot, to be honest, because I think at this point, yeah, the Shinju are cool and all, but I think outside of like persons wanting to get more on the Otsutsuki, I think when it comes on to the antagonist right now and the threat, it needs a little piece of lime, a little extra pizzazz, something to kind of shake things up. And I think if Eida does get devoured, and like the nature of Mamushi or even the Ten Tails or the antagonist kind of change yet again, I think that would be very appreciated. I think it would kind of, not that things are boring right now, you know, but it's just that I feel like it could use a bit more something to shake things up right now. It kind of feels like, you know, the Shinju are kind of getting steel, if you ask me. Mamushi pulls up to Eida and Daemon's crib. Since they're a low IQ state, they're twin clones, they all do fire style jutsu, and it gets reflected. Daemon thinks he got all of them, but okay, continue with the theory, Zion. Interested to see what you think, but yeah, that could be a possibility still. But yeah, as I was saying, Zion's kind of writing his theory there. Like, I think things are kind of getting stale with this Shinju from my perspective. So I think Eida getting devoured would be the shake up the story needs to kind of elevate things to kind of like the next level again. Kind of, it's not like we're getting new antagonists, but it would be something new that can work for the long term. He only got 100 and 200. Mamushi is now back at high IQ and catches Daemon off guard somehow, and Daemon gets damaged very bad, and we get hit with a Daemon flashback. Okay, yeah, that could work. That could work. That could work. What I was going to suggest, not in terms of like the exact play out of the scene, but I was going to suggest that with Eida getting devoured, we'd get more on Daemon after Eida gets devoured, so then we can start fleshing out Daemon's character. That's the thing I was kind of predicting. Because we really didn't get much from them. Yeah, true. It's really just like the aura for the most part when it comes down to Eida and Daemon. And like the next thing too, which would be a benefit for or not even benefit, but why I just feel Eida will get devoured. They're kind of already setting up this whole kind of Sarada, Sumire, Eida kind of dynamic in terms of their, I don't know if you want to call it a toxic friendship. I don't know, to be honest, but they seem to be setting up a little plot there, and I think it would make sense if, I don't know, if Eida and Bug's personalities mix into a new one, or the God Tree spits out a new Shinju, sentient Shinju, maybe. But it would build up to the whole, Eida, Sumire, Sarada, and Sumire being the one to quote unquote, kill Eida. Because if memory serves right, their last conversation was something along the lines of that, right? So I'm just saying. And Devoured, they seem to die. Well, I guess we'll see. This is kind of like why we kind of need to see when the Shinju get their targets, because it's like we don't know what exactly is going to happen. It's kind of like with Karma and White Karma, where it's like, yeah, we have a great understanding of it today, but there's still some things that seem, there's some little nuances that we still need some answers to. So I think, for a bit we can stop being drip fed, or stop leaving breadcrumbs, fam. Just let us know this one thing. I mean, it's been almost 30 chapters. I think that's enough time for us to kind of move to the next stage and see what happens once a divine tree actually consumes its target. So there's that. And of course, naturally, we had even the was it chapter 29? We had that scene by Kashin Koji where he saw a future with Himawari die and bada bing bada boom, and Eida getting devoured, I believe. Or was that chapter 28? Hold on. Hate how this scantillation, well, not scantillation, but this site kind of organizes the pages. That's 29, 28. How does my audio sound, by the way? Yeah, how does my audio sound? Because apart from the pop filter, like, I've tried a new noise suppression filter through OBS here, which uses more CPU. So I'm kind of curious how my audio is. Not that I don't think it was bad before, but let me know. Yeah, there was that scene in chapter, I think it should be this chapter, where Kashin Koshi sees one of the potential futures with with Eida being devoured and him are dying. So of course, yeah, I think the Eida being devoured will happen, but I don't think Himawari is going to die. With it, the box will give us more Daemon than Eida. Eida is fleshed out low key. It's really Daemon. All the ghosts is a night. It's our universe. You go, Joe. Yeah. Talking about your prediction, by the way, they give us a box right after it against. Yeah. Okay. Respect Zion. Yeah, man. I think it would make sense. I think it would make sense because, I personally, I don't think it would make sense to get it before then, because Eida is kind of like alright, sorry, like Daemon, his character is kind of playing off Eida in terms of like removing her from the story kind of leaves Daemon in like a mental state of weakness, if I could put it like that, right? So I think it would make sense after that you get flashbacks on Daemon and then you kind of flesh him out, build him out, and who knows, the interesting thing is you can actually take his character in a lot of directions from that point on, because depending on how the whole fight against the Mamushis go, Who knows? Maybe you see Daemon like, yo, fam, make me a shinobi or something. You know, let me change up the tactics and how I approach battle as well, outside of getting the flashback and kind of fleshing out his character more. So yeah, so I think it would make sense to get it after the facts, right? So there's that, and then through a flashback you can probably tie in any like intersecting flashbacks between like Code and his time back in Kara as well, and then you kind of launch from there, like, and then reintroduce Code for the next, I don't know, Boruto 2 Blue Vortex volume or next set of chapters, the next arc, basically. Because I think it's, despite how much we clown on Code, which rightfully so, let's be honest, rightfully so, Code kind of sucks, but I think next arc would be a nice time to reintroduce Code. And alright, cool. I just want to know that the audio is really crystal clear, and you know, of course with the pop filter, get rid of the whole popping noises and everything when they do come out. So yeah, I could see them see it. Nah, yeah, some way better than mine. I'll show us what happens after Shinju diverse target. Alright, respectful, confirming on the audio. Been saying if none of the Shinju return, then they're a terrible villain group. Alright, like, I don't know, I wouldn't say terrible, but it's kind of like I said, it's kind of getting stale, fam, right? And you know, it kind of ties back to the video I did when I was talking about, I think I put it up last week, when I was talking about my discussion video talking about if the Otsutsuki are dead. Yeah, this my latest video, this is basically from last week, because today is what, Wednesday? It should have been what, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. So basically from Saturday. And one of the points I was bringing up in the video, right, is like, it's been so long and the Shinju are taking center stage, and it just kind of feels like there's nothing more to look forward to outside of them. So it kind of feels like they're getting stale right now, because think about it, you know, it's been 30, almost 30 monthly chapters, and I like to do this, you guys should know by now. I like to convert that like monthly chapters into what it would have been like if this was like a regular Shonen Jump weekly series, right? Which you get like maybe like 15 to 20 pages. So it's like almost 30 chapters. That's some like maybe almost 90 weekly chapters. I'm just saying. So but anyway, let me see what you're saying. Oh, we'll have the last laugh. Yeah, I feel so too. I feel so. Did you read Dragon Ball Super? Like, I read Dragon Ball Super up until the end of the Granola arc. And I only listened to, you know, after that it was like the superhero stuff. And then I just kind of watched review videos for the superhero related, you know, retelling. And then I read the chapter with Beast Gohan versus Ultra Instinct Goku. So yeah. What, do you wanted to ask like my thoughts on Super? I think Uko will have the Black Frieza comeback, not gonna lie. I mean, probably. An idea with Code did kind of come to mind at one point, but I'm trying to remember what I was thinking. I don't know, maybe something wild like Code maybe eating one of the Thorn Soul bulbs, something, I don't know, something crazy. I don't know, maybe, just maybe, because you know, like, you know, just kind of throw more ideas like on the wall here, right? Is that I think we might get like maybe like a pseudo chakra fruits at some point, because I'm thinking about it, right? We're normally, or based on what we've been told, the Ten Tails is supposed to, you know, eat an Otsutsuki, and then it will turn into a divine tree and produce the chakra fruit, right? At this point, the Shinju are like some crazy evolution where they haven't, the Ten Tails hasn't eaten an Otsutsuki, but it's been exposed to like Otsutsuki essence via Code's white karma. But I'm thinking about it now, if a Shinju goes on and then eats or devours someone like Eida, who has a decent amount. I mean, it must be a decent amount to kind of manifest like an eye technique, right? A decent amount of Otsutsuki DNA and cells in our body. I'm wondering what happens in that case. You know, like, you gotta think about these things. So I'm kind of throwing that out there as well. So I'm just saying, maybe you eventually get a pseudo chakra fruit. Maybe Code swoops in. Maybe he eats it. Maybe he, I'm just saying. Even though I would subscribe to the idea that Code probably will be the one to confront Kashin Koji. I don't know. I probably wouldn't go as far to say kill just yet, but I think that, or who knows? Maybe he does get like this quote unquote pseudo chakra fruit that's produced or has traits of Eida. He maybe gets something Senrigan related, or maybe that's how they find Koji. Get Eida, you can have access to her abilities, look back in the past, see where Boruto has been, and then bada bing bada boom, then Koji goes to Koji. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. I'm just kind of throwing ideas out there based on the information that they've kind of told us in terms of how certain things work. So I'm kind of vibing with some of these ideas that I'm throwing on the wall here, so you can let me know if I'm cooking or not. I don't know. So yeah, but I guess we'll see. But I think for all those reasons, yeah, Eida will get eaten. I mean, again, just the Daemon benefits in terms of his developments in the story. Getting to see what they've told us, finally seeing what happens when Shinju eats their target. Setting up things with Sarada and Sumire potentially in terms of the whole, Eida, Sumire, Sarada friendship plots. Just make things overall more interesting, I would say, for the most part, and potentially kind of setting things up for Code to come back. So I think for all those reasons, yeah, I think Eida will get devoured. When she dies, I definitely see Code pulling up and eating that Thorn Soul Bulb. Think about it, who's gonna revive Bug? That is true. So I don't know. I mean, it's just a possibility. I don't know even if the Thorn Soul Bulbs are edible, much less. They could be as hard as steel or something. But who knows? I guess we shall see for the most part. So yeah. Now, the other thing I wanted to kind of talk about is like the whole, legacy characters coming back. And this is like one of my points of contention, issue, major criticism when it comes on to like the Boruto manga. And I don't know if it's a case where, and I've said it before, I don't know if it's a case where it's because, it's monthly, there's only so much chapters, yada yada yada. But I find it hard to believe that all these things are happening in the story and you don't showcase or show much persons from the legacy story, the prequel, without good reason. Like, are they still on Earth? Are they still alive? Yada yada yada. You might see Sakura here and there, but it's like maybe like a 1 or 2 panels, not even full page. So right now we got Shikamaru, Sai. Yeah. There's certain characters that we definitely consistently see from the legacy, but I mean, like outside of that, like I just don't think it makes sense. I feel like I have to be turning off my brain to say, oh, we're kind of just focused on these characters. So yeah, but the thing is, like with the whole, political, drama and tension, or conflict that's going on while this whole Mamushi invasion is going on, has been like a talking point for persons to say, maybe Shikamaru will get put down and probably Kakashi will come back. And I'm not disregarding that like possibility, but like I don't know, like especially with how this chapter ended, it kind of feels, for some reason it reminds me of the days of trying to predict the Jogan in the manga, right? Because it feels like when we're almost getting to the point where the thing you want to happen is about to happen, like Kishimoto and Ikimoto find some way to kind of pull back and navigate around it, right? And the fact that we have Kobu right now, who's kind of you know, he's kind of been exposed to what's really happening, and he's not in his whole safe seat anymore. It feels like it would be an excuse for them, like after this, to go back to the elders and say, yo, just let Shikamaru stay. So with that in mind, it kind of feels like maybe the predictions about Kakashi or Tsunade coming back isn't going to happen, you know. And see Tsunade coming back, I see some people saying they wanted her back. They were pushing subplot with Lord Coexten, but now we're back on track, full speed. Yeah, exactly. So it just feels like any predictions about Kakashi and everything is, I mean, it could still work, you know, in the sense that they could still like, yo, call up Tsunade, call up Kakashi. We need some further advice or something. But I think the issue though, like the problem, and it doesn't have to be, but the thing that will have to be addressed if you start like reintroducing legacy characters, you'll have to kind of explain like, where were they all this time? Like, where were they all this time, fam? You know, so that's the thing. That is the issue at the end of the day, and it would have to be like a good explanation. So I don't know if Ikemoto is going to bother like dealing with that. One theory that I've had in the past is that, you know, even though the Boruto manga and anime kind of feel like two separate continuities, kinda, to me, I've always kind of, the theory is that I've kind of seen the Boruto manga as more of a skeleton, or like, or as a blueprint, or just like a, you know, beat for beat in terms of how the story is going to go. Hence why the pacing is always so, almost feels fast, you know. And then I think when the anime comes, that's when you'll get to see a lot of the legacy characters, which we've kind of had that happen already. Kind of like when Ishiki came to the village and we had the Konoha Avengers try to fight him. So that's one theory I've had. Like, the anime is the full-blown, fleshed-out story from start to finish, with the manga being like just a skeletal blueprint, and then the anime just has on the flesh. So yeah, if Tsunade comes back, she better have Sagemon and start helping Sarada in something. Maybe, because one thing, of course, I have a Sarada discussion video that I recorded last night. I wanted to actually put it up before the stream, but it might come out. I might just, you know, put up something together for either tomorrow or Friday to drop that. But one thing I was kind of talking about with that in mind is probably legacy characters coming back for the sake of Sarada, and, you know, helping her with the, you know, the deteriorating eyesight. So yeah, it's confirmed by the Boruto editor. Okay, interesting. That's funny. But I think like if that is genuinely 100% true in terms of the manga being the skeleton and the anime being the meat, even though like the anime isn't my favorite thing in the world, I think the anime kind of ruined the perception of Boruto in the eyes of the masses in the anime community. I will be 120% like on that bandwagon. But if the anime really and truly is the meat, again, it would explain why we don't see legacy characters in the manga, and we probably will never see them in the manga outside of the ones that they've decided to focus on. If it comes back, hopefully it's faithful to the manga. Yeah, hopefully. I just kind of hope that, you know, they make qualitative additions. You know, kind of like how the Kawaki arc or the Kara arc happened in the anime. Outside of like the Kara actuation, like when we actually got to Kawaki come to the village, from what I can remember, I think there was a lot of like qualitative additions that kind of made it feel a bit more fleshed out compared to the manga. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, one of the points I was bringing up is that maybe someone like Tsunade, Orochimaru, I think is like one of the biggest, like if you were to create a poll, I think Orochimaru is one of like the biggest characters persons want to see come back. And I think rightfully so, because like the man has so much to offer. Like, I think Orochimaru, based on how he's been built up since OG Naruto, like as a scientist, he fits into the theme of like one of the major themes of Boruto so well when it comes on to like scientific development, right? And of course, Orochimaru as a scientist is going to continue to experiment and yada yada yada. So like, even from like, to me, I think if someone like Orochimaru comes back and is like ridiculously overpowered, nobody would have a problem, because I think based on what we know of the character, it would make sense. Like, to be honest. Yo, yo, if Orochimaru come back and have Sharingan, bro, yo, that would be wild. Which, is crazy to me. And I think persons have made a joke about this, where it's like, Orochimaru's been going after Itachi and Sasuke for so long, and then the whole everybody's just taking out eyes by the time getting closer to the end of the story. It's like, bro, just pop a Sharingan in. Just pop a Sharingan in. We know this man has Hashirama cells just put on in the lab. You can just create a body, just fresh up, pop in some Sharingan with Gucci. Yo, the man probably has Shibai cells in the lab, bro. So let's be honest. The man could come back with some Sharingan. Or who knows? Who knows? Maybe he has still some DNA cells from Sasuke. He could probably grow a pair of eyes for Sarada. I don't know. Possibility, right? Yo. Sorry, 72. I could definitely see Orochimaru making the immense from scratch. No, bro. Yeah. Even though I don't know how the broader fandom would react to that. Oh, you can just grow Mangekyo Sharingan. No, but yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it because, again, even though it would kind of feel like out of nowhere, I mean, there's a foundation of, we're doing that whole traditional mindset versus the new age way of doing things. That's the whole clashing, one of the clashing themes when it comes on to Boruto. Hence, the age of shinobi is over. So you no longer have to quote unquote endure, right? So I would actually wouldn't mind seeing that. I just think it would make sense. Orochimaru would definitely be one of those characters that comes back and it's like, yo fam, the man has everything in his pocket, bro. Crazy. Like, the man probably have like wait 1 second. Man is like, yo, alright. In the village fighting the Shinjuns, man's like, yo, may have this prototype, got the Mangekyo Sharingan glasses. So stupid like that. I don't know. It's a prototype. Can only use them for 3 minutes at a time. Can spam Amaterasu or something. Yo, oh god, that would be wild, bro. Not if I would go, but let's see if it's Saros from Papa Susano. Yo, that would be too much. I tell him, Manga, just pop out the glasses. Manga said, alright, count this is 5 minutes. This is only a prototype. Amaterasu, I'm just activate it. Boom. Tsukuyomi, alright, Susano mode activates. I just yo, that would be crazy, fam, honestly. Yeah. yo, but nah, like, that would be funny. Yo, that would be like a 10 out of 10 chapter for me, honestly. I don't care if persons would like bitch and complain about it. I would absolutely love it, fam. That would be crazy. But like how I mentioned, I actually like the idea. Of probably Orochimaru coming back and having maybe some of Sasuke's DNA left in his hideout, and he probably grows a pair of eyes for Sarada. I mean, that could probably work too. Or, maybe between Tsunade and Sakura, they kind of done research on the Uchiha and see there's like, coming down from the Otsutsuki line, there's like a missing spot in the brain when it comes on to the Mangekyo Sharingan, or a missing spot in like the Uchiha DNA compared to their Otsutsuki ancestors. And like, oh, we just need to fix this part and we can fix the whole losing your eyesight type of deal. Something like that. I think there's like so many options to like introduce or, bring back legacy characters and make them useful based on what we know about them and tie them into the themes of the story as we see it right now. So I don't know, man. I feel like I'm cooking here, man. Literally. Like I feel like I got it. I feel like I got it. So I don't know. I don't know. I just hope to see bigger and greater things from Boruto, right? Like, been loving too Blue Vortex, but I feel like the scope of things can feel grander if you like start introducing like all of these legacy characters and stuff, you know, and putting them to use. Like, they're just popping Orochimaru, please. Please, please. So, oh, some new like Himura getting Kurama concept. Yes, yeah, it's something wild, you know, like even I think that even the thing with Himura getting Kurama, that's the next thing they're kind of drip feeding us on. There's still a lot of explanation that needs to kind of go on there, right? Because, you know, even the way that Kurama speaks about, you know, Himawari and the whole Jinchuriki dynamic, our new Jinchuriki dynamic, it seems different. So I'm hoping we get some more details on that at some point. Him a low-key a group project, like you're saying that like Boruto is in the same. Yo, Boruto is like high-key the same, bro. Like, these kids are actually crazy, actually crazy. Because I mean, Boruto is an Otsutsuki, no? Yeah, it's Otsutsuki. The potential is great. Otsutsuki that trains, which is crazy to me, thinking about it. The only reason him and Boruto had a still is because not had just in the seal to him as soon as he spawned. Yeah, more than likely. Chakra can leak out and mix with Naruto's own, so I mean, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense. Yeah, overwritten. That, yeah, true, but it probably just still obviously still has a physical expression with the whole, you know, whiskers or whatever the marks. But that would be a good explanation to probably like down the line to say, you know, why like Kurama didn't like respawn in Boruto versus Himawari. That could be a good out for Ikimoto, to be honest. It's actually a pretty good one, Zion, I'm not lying. Not gonna lie, man. It's actually a pretty good one. Hold on, let me see something. Alright, yeah. This is the one make sure today. Just remember I have the music still playing, even though I've turned it down. Just wanted to know that it's not too loud. But yeah, I don't know how to defend Boruto having the whiskers still. Yeah, I mean, you kind of have that physical expression of it already, so I don't think that's going to go away. And of course, marketing, because it's like, if nothing else, that it's kind of like a unique identifier all the same, right? So we can't get rid of those. Can't get rid of those at all. So gotta still keep them. But yeah, like, so Sakura, I mean, Sakura's had some like, you know, 1 and 2 panels, but yeah, Sakura, Tsunade, Orochimaru. I think again, if we're not going to like expand the scope to a lot of the legacy characters, I think even introducing like a small group of them would be nice. I mean, I don't think it's going to take away from the new cast, really and truly, because for example, like, I don't think persons think Ino's taking away from the new cast, right? So I'm just saying, I think they can balance it well. If they don't want to introduce a lot of the old cast, then yeah, you can definitely at least introduce a lot of the old cast. And I think even with, for example, Orochimaru, I think this is like one of the most obvious things yet. Like, persons have been speaking about it ever since we've gotten some substantial details on Karma. Obviously, the whole like similarities between like Karma and the Otsutsuki reviving and Orochimaru's cursed seal and Orochimaru's consciousness being in the cursed seals. I think for the sake of my sanity, they have to introduce Orochimaru back into the plot at some point to kind of say, yo, oh, this karma thing kind of seems similar to my curse seal, thing back in the well, bossa, oh, high-end era Sukuna joke, but yeah, I think it has to happen, bro. If they add filler to 2 before they got a show. Naruto and Hinata funeral. Yeah, true. That would be good. You wanna go, gang? My phone is about to die. That'll be a stream though. Alright, no pressure, man. And of course, you can definitely take in the rest of it after it's done. But yeah, man, respect for coming out, Zion. Respect the engagement and the back and forth, man. So definitely respect for coming out. But yeah, so yeah, thinking about it now, this is just me kind of just really building off the whole, reintroducing old characters from the whole, potentially Shikamaru stepping down. But it's just that thinking about it now, considering that the karma and Orochimaru's curse seal have a lot of similarities, or at least from the perspective of Orochimaru trying to go after immortality, I think it would be interesting to kind of tie up those loose ends, quote unquote, between Orochimaru and just playing his character off the Otsutsuki clan and their, I guess, immortality style jutsu that they've been using for, I guess, thousands of years. It would be interesting. And then you could also speak more on Orochimaru too, in terms of like how he's grown as a character. Does he still want to be immortal? Does he still want to live like forever, a long time, master every jutsu, little things like that. I think you could probably do when it comes down to Orochimaru, and just kind of tying up his character, because at the end of the day, to even kind of expound on the whole, you can make this story feel a lot grander point. I think part of it is that, like, yeah, you have the new generation and you don't have to take away from them to bring in a lot of the old cast and expand on, things they went through in OG Naruto, really and truly, just to kind of feel like, okay, there's this large overarching story with a lot of these characters. This isn't just like this self-contained spin-off and the, but it's like, it's whatever. I think you can feel a lot more grand, right? Like, when persons like a fan base can talk about, yo, there's this theory, or there's this aspect of it, and there's this aspect of it, and there's this aspect and this aspect, and Naruto and Boruto is like that. But like, I still think like Boruto has so much more potential it can like have at the end of the day, if you could just wiggling back those old characters. And you kind of have to do it. You kind of have to do it without kind of disrespecting the old cast, which I feel like a lot of persons feel have already kind of happened with Naruto and Sasuke in terms from like a fighting or power scaling standpoint. But I think if you kind of plan it right, you can definitely like showcase and bring in the old cast to make the story feel more, I guess, fulfilling, engaging. So yeah. That's what I think, at least. So yeah, all this from Shikamaru probably stepping down, right? So yeah, which should be interesting too, because if Shikamaru did end up stepping down, which as I said, I don't think is going to happen anymore, to be honest, because it feels like we're heading towards that, and then we just nicely just go around that potential event. I'm wondering how Shikamaru would operate in a situation like that. Does he chill at home? Well, not really chill, but does he temporarily leave the village? Does he, I'd be curious to see how things would operate Shikamaru if he does end up leaving the village, or stepping down and then leaving the village. So that would be a very interesting set of events, to say the least. So yeah, 1 second, guys. Who's this? One second. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. So yeah, I think it would be kind of interesting to see Shikamaru stepping down. So, but again, as I said, I don't think it's gonna happen because if we even go back to the whole scene here, scroll up. Eventually, is not the answer. They must be dealt with. Stats, please let me do my job. Find what you must. However, I say into you isn't overnourished Shikamaru. You better not think you can sweep this under the rug. For all it comes after it all comes to light, we of the land of fire shall take whatever action is necessary. You best remember that. So yeah, it could still be a possibility, but to be honest, I don't see it happening. to be honest, I'm not gonna lie. But I guess we'll see. Well, now that I think about it, I'm actually curious about just some of the comments on this chapter from Manga Plus. Let's just go through a few. Don't want to turn this stream into like a a community response or anything. Blindness is starting to set in. I see. Anyway, another impressive chapter. So does this mean Sasuke gives Sarada his eye, or how will that work? Yeah, I know. The thing is, you know, Sasuke is in the tree and he only has one eye, so I don't think it makes sense to go that route. I think there's a lot more interesting ways they could do it. Of course, there is the whole argument of Sasuke's, like, potentially his old set of eyes that Obito might have had. Maybe he could have stored it. You know, there's that potential theory in terms of solving Sarada's issues as well. So yeah. So far I'm like taking a huge tool. Wait, the whole we are waiting for, wait wait, the whole two Blue Vortex, we are waiting for Kakashi to use his Dusanavo, but we haven't seen Kakashi at all. Where is he? Okay, peak fiction. I might doubts, but no, I'm certain Boruto is not one of my goats. You know, it's so kind of refreshing to see, like, the whole, you know, a set of persons, a section of the anime community in general definitely loves Boruto and are definitely enjoying it compared to the hate that this side of the franchise was getting, especially in the early days, you know. So there's that. Tomorrow should change Shinobi system. You know, him let the elders sacrifice someone in the whole years. That's an interesting, like, comment in terms of the whole, like, potentially changing the Shinobi system, right? Because at the end of the day, like, the more time goes on and the more time passes, the lands, the feudal lords, the governments probably will start to say maybe Shinobi aren't as needed as before. So, and of course, we've even seen from, like, the academy. You could go to the academy and not even do the Shinobi courses, right? You could just do, like, regular stuff. So, I'm curious in terms of the future of the whole, like, ninja world, quote unquote. If there even be ninjas in the future, I will just end up being Orochimaru telling a story from a book by the end of the story. Who knows? Sarada is already getting blind by the MS. How long has she even used it? Wasn't this the second time or so? Sasuke was spamming his left and right when he got it, but I didn't get that impression from Sarada yet. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, cause interestingly enough, Sasuke used his quite a bit before he went fully blind, really and truly. So I guess comparatively speaking, I was kind of theorizing during the chapter that maybe, just maybe, having less Uchiha DNA probably makes you go blind faster, maybe. But I did get a comment on one of my other videos kind of talking about the possibility that, you know, Sarada has actually been spamming because, you know, between applying the gravity to different targets in the fight with Ryu, that Ryu herself, Ryu's attacks, kind of using the spears, like, I guess that kind of counts as potentially spamming, I suppose. But interesting enough, when I kind of compare it to, like, Sasuke, which I think I did mention in my Sarada discussion video that I'll be dropping at tomorrow or Friday. It's more like Friday. Worst case Saturday. Sasuke used his Mangekyo maybe like 5 times in the mission to the Cloud Village, and his eyesight got to roughly the same point that we see in this chapter with Sarada in terms of how she sees Delta. Yeah, like Sasuke basically had the same issue after using it 5 times. I don't know if that's comparable to all the times Sarada's use it right now, but yeah, I guess, because really and truly when I think about it, Sasuke used Genjutsu against the Mangekyo Genjutsu against that random Cloud Shinobi. He used tried Genjutsu against Killer Bee Mangekyo, of course. He tried Amaterasu. He used Blaze Release or Flame Control to put out, you know, Amaterasu twice, and then after those 5 times, he was basically at the same point as Sarada. And then, of course, we know he did go through the whole gauntlet of the 5 Kage Summit, and, you know, fight Danzo, and then Kakashi, and that's when it hit him. So, to be honest, I think this fight against Mamushi is definitely going to push Sarada to like full-blown blindness. I just want people to cut Sarada some slack. She's half Uchiha using the strongest MS ability. What do people expect? I don't think like people have to like, I know like on the surface, it's just because on the surface, like it's just been one fight with Ryu and then you just use it this one time with with Mamushi right now, and it's like, oh, you're already going blind. But as I was saying, I was kind of comparing to Sasuke, and it's kind of like it's more or less the same kind of time frame, really and truly. Because if I compare, for example, the first few times that Sasuke used his Mangekyo Sharingan, right, compared to Sarada, like Sasuke used it more sparingly initially in the mission to the Cloud Village, versus how Sarada used it against Ryu. Like she just was like, you know. So I'm just saying, godlike beings. No, the point I'm making is that it doesn't really matter if it's godlike beings or whatever. It's like she kind of constantly had it on compared to Sasuke. And with Sasuke, like even with him sparingly using it in the cloud, he was more or less at the same point of like visual fidelity, if I could put it like that, as Sarada. So this is no like slight against Sarada for me. Like it makes sense when I kind of compare it. So that's all I'm saying, right? Because all right, if I could bring it back, I actually downloaded some panels from my Sarada video. Let me see if I can find it. Can't find this thing. All right, well on. Yeah, doing some panels. So of course you have this time with Sasuke. You have the Amaterasu here. You have Blaze Release or Flame Control once and twice here. Yeah, and then potential thumbnail. 1 second. Where is it? I should still have it. There was another panel. Is it this? No, it's not that. Ah, man, where did I do with it? I know I should have downloaded it. It should be here somewhere. 1 second. 1 second. No. No. I'm gonna have to look back for it, man. Well, I mean, it's just like a chill discussion video, but you know, nothing crazy. But respect all the same. I don't mind getting pumped for it, but you know, we're just chilling. We're just having some discussions, some healthy discussions. You know, you gotta put the healthy in it. Yeah, I'll have to look back for the picture. I'll probably just download it and include it in the video, and then have it like the 2 panels with Sarada's vision and then Sasuke vision side by side with it. So yeah, but yeah, that's the point. Is I know, yeah, like, cause even me, like when I just reacted to the chapter, I'm like, yeah, Sarada's going blind already, but like when I compare it, I'm saying, yeah, makes sense, makes sense, makes sense. So, yeah, again, I think after the fights with Mamushi, depending on how, I mean, Sarada's like one of the heavy hitters, so she'll definitely be heavily involved in the fight against Mamushi, right? So, I think she's definitely going blind, or maybe like one step short of what Sasuke experienced when he was bringing up his Susanoo against Kakashi. So I think that's pretty much it. And it would be interesting. It would be interesting if Sarada pulls out a Susanoo, in the fight against Mamushi. I don't know if you guys think this would be the right time for it. You know, you'd think she'd have to at least use Susanoo at least once before she goes blind, maybe. But I mean, to just kind of stay, you know, in the same on the same bar as Sasuke, like, yeah, we gotta at least spam some Susanoo too. Yeah, it would be wild. It would be wild. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed, you know. Fingers crossed. So yeah. But again, even after that, no, it would be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I've kind of already laid out a lot of things that they could do, even in the stream here, to kind of address Sarada's blindness. But I guess we'll see. Do you think they can write a way for Sarada to meet Itachi or grandparents? You know, funny enough, I've actually like thoughts about that to a smaller degree, in the sense that, you know, you have Edo Tensei, Impure World Resurrection, reincarnation. Maybe you could have a Pure World Ascension Jutsu or something like that, I don't know. And you kind of have Sarada get to meet a lot of the old characters. You know, if something like that happens, I could see a lot of like Boruto, Naruto anime YouTubers. Oh, breaking news! Madara returns. Madara appears in the Boruto story or something like that. So, yeah, I think, and I probably would kind of subscribe to the idea of that. Especially since, based on how we've kind of interpreted things, especially like with characters like Hagoromo, which I would think should even have like some sort of presence in this story at some point, since, you know, he kind of continues to kind of watch the world, I believe. So I'm just saying, like, could explore the Pure Lands as a concept, and especially if since we're dealing with like characters like Shibai, who are, you know, transcending the mortal plane. Obviously we'll have different, well, I mean, we already have different, you know, dimensions and space times, but I'm talking like on a spiritual level. Like, I think it would be in line to kind of explore that, even though, again, I know some persons will probably say, yo, this is a far cry from the Naruto they knew. Honestly, because I have some friends who will watch some scenes of Boruto, but they're not really into Boruto, so, you know. So it would be crazy, but I mean, stuff like this has kind of already been in the story anyway. So I'm just saying. I don't think it would be too far-fetched if you kind of just connect the dots in the grand scheme of things. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, even with Sora, as I was saying, I mean, you could reintroduce Orochimaru. Maybe Orochimaru grow some eyes for her. Some other ways involving maybe Hidari, maybe scientific ninja weapons, maybe Sakura Tsunade fixes a defect with the Uchiha, missing probably some DNA, or a section of DNA is missing compared to their Otsutsuki ancestors. There's so many like interesting and engaging possibilities I think they could do to actually kind of fix this issue and kind of tie it in with the whole, you know, traditional ninja way versus the modern ninja way type of deal. So I'm just saying, there's options. Just give me something fresh and interesting, make it feel grand, and just pull in my legacy characters too. Maybe. Yo, this person, water juice. Yo, this is like nice coming on. If you merge the Byakugan's abilities with Orihyu, whom yes, Sarada's move. Bro, it would be OP. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But you would still need an EMS because you know your eyes are gonna bleed out at that point. It's a pretty damn good idea. Shout out to this guy named Water Juice. Yo. Who knows? Maybe, just maybe, you know, like could do something like, oh, Boruto with his Byakugan no can I know touch a certain chakra point on Sarada. It connects their optic chakra point nerves, and then Sarada has a temporary access to Boruto's Byakugan to see. You know, some weird combo move like that. I don't know. That just came to mind for some reason, especially since Boruto has access to his Byakugan now. Well, Momoshiki's Byakugan, so that's definitely a possibility. Oh god, the shit I come up with, honestly. Now imagine if Sarada has even one Rinnegan and uses those summonings that Pain used together with her MS, and Sarada would get unplayable versus her. Yeah, that would be yo. You know, the community has some crazy ideas too, dog. But not like some nice ideas too. There's that. There's definitely that. I think the only issue at that point is like just the chakra consumption. Just the chakra consumption, or if the person has like a move that can counteract it. Just again, I'm interested in see the use of this technique more against more opponents, just to see like the nuances that can somebody counter it at some point. I mean, we already got the weakness that she has to at least see you first, but outside of that, and the chakra consumption, the current Mangeki, you know, like blindness issue, so I guess we shall see. Guess we shall see. What do you think they are planning? Why do you think they are planning the Boruto and Hima meet up? I just think maybe from a writing perspective, it's just probably not time. Not the time yet. Maybe even in Boruto's head, it's like, yeah, I can watch you from a distance, make sure you're alright, but it doesn't really make sense. You know, face you now. What I think will happen is more so there needs to be more, maybe interaction, more little omnipotent development between Himawari and Kawaki. And I'm not saying Himawari and Kawaki need to fall out, but I think there needs to be some kind of interaction with Kawaki that causes Himawari to want to seek out Boruto for herself even more. Even though we've already seen from early 2 Blue Vortex that she doesn't, even though she's seeing, you know, Boruto as, you know, Kawaki, you know, quote unquote, she still doesn't really feel bad towards Boruto right now. You guys get the point. So I think something needs to kind of develop more between Kawaki and Himawari, and then some inciting incident to kind of cause Himawari to want to talk to her, just kind of vibe with, kind of just, you know, travel with, maybe with Boruto, maybe something along the lines of that. That's some solid comments. Solid comments. But I mean, oh, hold on. Thinking about it, no. List of Boruto to Blue Vortex volumes. What's the color code here? Prophecy arc. What volume are we on? thinking about it. Oh, here we go. Volume 8. Hold on. Hold on, Batman. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, volumes usually have 4 chapters, right? 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're getting into the final chapter of volume 8. Interesting. Okay, the Shinki. Okay, so they actually have it. A homecoming arc. Being 15 chapters. Shinki rescue arc 1 to 16 to 25. So that's 9 chapters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're in February now. March, April, May. You know, this arc might end in May, you know, given the length of these chapters. These arcs. Just maybe. But the thing is, we're heading into the final chapter of volume 8, so I'm expecting some crazy stuff to actually happen. Because, let me see, volume 6, Uzumaki Kawaki, volume 5, Cause of Love, that's pre-Mangekyo Sharingan, 4, Singularity of Fate, 3, Console Bulb. Yeah, I'm expecting some crazy stuff to happen for that final chapter. But all being said, I think I've said my piece. I think I've said my piece for the most part. Don't foresee everyone making it to Eida's place, even though Shikamaru ordered it. So you're kind of probably foreseeing like things kind of wrapping up at Eida's place, and then some characters like get there when it's too late, I suppose. Because yeah, I could see that as well. Definitely, I do see Boruto and Kawaki making it there in time. I don't see why not. I would be surprised if, you know, Boruto doesn't have something left over there to just, you know, plant on the god. I mean, probably you could have Sarada getting there too late. Probably. Tie it in with the whole, you know, we're friends with Eida now, and, you know, I lost my friend type of deal. You could kind of set that up. So that's a possibility as well. Definitely. But I guess we'll definitely see. I mean, February is a short month. March is right around the corner. And interestingly enough, I probably should do a video on this or something. I definitely want to do a stream around the time, but I mean, I think, don't remember the exact. It's either April or probably May. It could even be next month. But the 10-year anniversary of the Boruto manga is coming. I'm not really expecting like much. You know, like those manga videos that you get for like Bleach, and I think we've gotten for Boruto as well. Like a highlight reel, probably spliced it in with some anime scenes. I think we'll get something like that for the Boruto 10-year anniversary, or maybe a teaser trailer for something for the Boruto anime, because to be honest, I don't see the anime coming back until next year, the earliest, which would make the 10 years of the Boruto anime, which I think would be appropriate, right? The anime comes back on its 10-year anniversary. So yeah, that could be a possibility. But yeah, but with the 10-year anniversary of the Boruto manga coming up, probably between like a teaser, maybe it's an announcement, confirmation in terms of the dates of the Naruto episodes that we still haven't gotten. So there's that possibility as well. But worst case scenario, let me see. When did the first Boruto chapter come out? Because I think I want to hopefully do like a stream and invite some people to come and probably, you know, grand panel style talk about, you know, 10 years of Boruto, which crazy enough is this summer is going to make 10 years of this channel, which is crazy, a bit discouraging for me, or depressing for me, but all at the same time, yeah, it's crazy how fast time has passed, right? Release dates. Uzumaki Boruto, Chapter 1. Okay, so this is in May. First chapter was May 23, but the English publication was May 9th. Interesting. So yeah, I guess hopefully God spare life. In May we'll hopefully have like a 10 years of Boruto stream. Hopefully I can get the Cloud Ninja podcast guys, or just like a wide range of Boruto YouTubers, or Boruto content creators. Hopefully, I'm hoping. So yeah, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, I think I am going to, if you guys don't have anything like otherwise you want to discuss, I think I've said my piece, so I think I'm gonna just wrap up the stream with this. For the most part, this was actually more fun than I anticipated. I was actually kind of expecting like the stream would have been like kind of stale, but it was just surprisingly fun, to be honest. So yeah, so again, if you guys are, if you want to just stick around a bit, I don't know, I appreciate your content. I respect, you know, it's all about just healthy discourse, or just healthy discussions. Just chill, you know, we're all fans of this thing here, so I can have some fun talk, meet people, you know. I have a saying, it's serious but not that serious, you know. So but you know, I'm trying to kind of get back on the groove. The fact that I'm even like, say, you know, I posted a video last week doing a stream now. I mean, I always did these end of month subscriber streams anyway, but the fact that I even have that Sarada video like recorded, I'm slowly but surely getting back to form in terms of just pushing out content, because you know, I've been so sluggish for so long in terms compared to the peak of this channel. Is like, yo, almost every 2 days I'd be doing a video or something. So yeah, but yeah, man, respect the shout out to Zion, who was on earlier, and everybody that kind of passed through or stopped by, or will pass through and stop by after the stream ends and it goes up as a regular video. Yeah, man, just shout outs. Looking forward to seeing how March goes with the chapter and everything else. Of course, you know, there are other anime, other awesome series going on as well. Definitely give those a try. You know, despite, you know, this being a primarily right now, I guess, a Boruto / Naruto channel for the most part, and I still try to do other stuff. I'm always up for talking about other things, especially when it comes on to these end of month subscriber streams. So yeah, man. But anyway, definitely gonna end it here and just chill a bit before bed, because you don't know work tomorrow and the adulting never ends. But anyway, Sandra Uchiha. I guess I will see you guys in the next one.